What if I told you there's a reason you can dream bigger than most people you know, yet still find yourself trapped by the same old habits, the same lazy days, the same disappointments? You have these visions of a greater life, and they burn so brightly in your mind you can almost taste them. The person you're meant to be, the work you're meant to do, it feels so real, so possible. But when it's time to act, something invisible holds you back. You find yourself scrolling, cleaning, organizing, anything but the one thing that matters. You tell yourself, tomorrow. Tomorrow the energy will be there, tomorrow the inspiration will strike. But tomorrow becomes the next day, and the next, and the weight of it all is crushing. Society tells you it's laziness. Maybe you've called yourself that 100 times, a fatal flaw in your character, a lack of discipline. You shame yourself, you get angry, you try to force it, but the resistance is like a thick wall of glass between you and the life you want. But what if that's not the truth? What if you're not lazy at all? The legendary psychologist Carl Jung would say laziness is not a personality defect. It's a mask. It's a word we slap onto something much deeper. He believed this paralysis, this frustrating cycle, isn't a character flaw. It's a hidden force in your mind, a part of you he called the shadow, and it is actively sabotaging you. And it's doing it for one brutal reason: it's terrified. This internal conflict feels like a hidden war. It's as if two different people are living inside of you. There's the part of you that lives in the future, the ambitious dreamer fueled by possibility and the exhilarating promise of your own potential. This is the part that buys the domain name, outlines the novel, signs up for the marathon. This part of you knows, with absolute certainty, that you are capable of more. And then, there is the other part. The one that wakes up the next morning feeling inexplicably tired. The one that suddenly finds a dozen urgent tasks that have to be done before you can start. This is the part that whispers, "It's too much work, you're not ready, what's the point? You'll probably fail anyway." You might call this part lazy, or a saboteur, but it's far more cunning than that. It uses procrastination, distraction, and sudden fatigue as strategic weapons to keep you exactly where you are. This is the great paradox of the ambitious but stuck. You have one foot on the accelerator and one foot slammed on the brake. The engine roars, you burn an immense amount of mental and emotional fuel, but you go nowhere. You see others moving forward, and the self-blame gets louder. What's wrong with me? Why can't I just do what I say I want to do? You search for another productivity hack, another motivational video, believing if you just find the right system, you'll finally break through. But Jung's work tells us the problem isn't the system, it's the psyche. You cannot out-hustle the parts of yourself you refuse to see. The more you try to force your way forward, the harder that hidden part will pull you back. This isn't a battle of willpower. It's a tug-of-war with an invisible opponent. And until you turn around and face that opponent, you will, eventually, always lose. Because that opponent, your shadow, is a part of you. It knows all your weaknesses. It knows exactly which levers to pull to keep you safe, comfortable, and stuck. So what is this hidden enemy? To understand this, we have to journey into the heart of Carl Jung's work. His entire career was about one thing: digging up the parts of us we refuse to face. He called it the shadow. The shadow, as Jung described it, is the unconscious part of our psyche. It is the repository for all the traits, impulses, and emotions we've learned are unacceptable. From a young age, we're taught that some parts of us are good and some are bad. We're praised for being polite and agreeable, we're corrected for being angry or afraid. So we learn to wear a mask, what Jung called the persona, that shows our acceptable side to the world. Everything else gets shoved down into the darkness of the unconscious. This includes not just negative things like greed or rage, but often, positive things too, our raw creativity, our assertiveness, our untamed ambition. Here's the mind-bending part: the bigger your ambition, the bigger your shadow grows. Why? Because every bold goal you set, every time you dare to imagine a life beyond the one you have, your shadow feels threatened. Its primary job is not to ruin your life, it's to protect you. It operates from a primitive, fear-based logic. It wants to keep you safe in what's familiar, even if what's familiar is miserable. Your current, stuck state is predictable. Your dreams are not. And so we arrive at the brutal reason you're stuck. A part of you is unconsciously working against your success because it is terrified of what might happen if you actually changed. Your laziness is not a lack of motivation. It is a highly effective psychological defense system. It is self-sabotage masquerading as apathy. It's your unconscious mind slamming the emergency brakes because it believes the road ahead is dangerous. The brutal truth is that you are not the victim of some mysterious inertia. On an unconscious level, you are choosing to stay stuck. As Jung famously wrote, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. That feeling that this is just the way I am is not fate. It is your unexamined shadow writing the script of your life. Why would a part of us be so afraid of getting everything we consciously want? From the shadow's perspective, ambition is riddled with peril. It's a complex web of fears, each one a powerful reason to stay put. First, there's the obvious one, the fear of failure. The fear that if you give it your all and still don't succeed, it will confirm your deepest insecurity, that you are not good enough. The shadow would rather protect you from this potential humiliation. If you never truly try, you can always hold on to the comforting fantasy of what if. Inaction becomes a fortress against the verdict of reality. But far more potent, and far more subtle, is the fear of success. What happens if you do get everything you want? Success means change, and change is the enemy of the shadow's desire for safety. Success brings new expectations. People will look at you differently. You will have to perform at this new, higher level, consistently. Success might mean outgrowing your friends or your community, leading to a profound sense of isolation. Jung noted that following your true path is often a deviation that is highly uncongenial to the herd. Your shadow is terrified of this isolation, of being cast out for daring to be more. Then there is the fear of judgment. To pursue a dream is to make yourself visible. To publish your art, to launch your business, to speak your truth, it is to stand in the arena and invite criticism. The shadow, which holds all our shame and insecurity, is petrified of this. Laziness, in this context, is a cloak of invisibility. It keeps you off the stage and safe in the audience. And finally, the deepest fear of all, the fear of leaving your familiar identity behind. You may hate being the procrastinator, the underachiever, but that identity is known. It's predictable. To truly step into your ambition is to let that old self die. Success requires a rebirth, and every rebirth is preceded by a death. You have to become someone new. This transformation is a journey into the unknown, and the shadow will cling to the shores of the familiar self, no matter how unhappy that self may be. It is choosing the devil you know over the angel you don't. So, what are we to do? Conventional wisdom and most motivation videos tell us to fight this resistance, to crush our laziness with sheer willpower. But here's the twist: motivation is just fuel for the shadow's fire if you don't know what's holding you back. Jung's wisdom offers a radically different path. He taught that what you resist, persists. The more you fight the shadow, the stronger it becomes. When you shame yourself for being lazy, you are shaming a terrified, wounded part of yourself. You cannot hate yourself into a version of yourself that you love. The solution is not to fight the shadow, but to turn towards it. The path forward is not battle, but dialogue. This is the essence of what is known as shadow work. It's the process of making the unconscious conscious. Instead of shaming the resistance, get curious about it. Treat your laziness not as a flaw, but as a messenger. It has something incredibly important to tell you. Your procrastination, your fatigue, these are symbolic communications from a disowned part of yourself. The next time you feel that wall of "I can't rise up," pause. Close your eyes. Instead of fighting it, imagine this feeling is a part of you that can speak. And then, with genuine curiosity, ask it. What are you afraid will happen if I succeed? Just listen for the answer. Don't judge it or argue with it. The answers might sound irrational to your conscious mind. You might hear, "If you succeed, everyone will expect you to keep succeeding, and you'll burn out. If you put your work out there, people will tear it apart, and you'll be exposed as a fraud. If you change, you won't be you anymore, and that feels like dying." These are the hidden fears fueling your self-sabotage. By simply bringing them into the light, you begin to loosen their grip. The goal is not to solve them immediately, but to acknowledge them with compassion. You are saying to that terrified part of yourself, "I hear you. I understand you're trying to protect me. Thank you." This compassionate dialogue is the key that begins to unlock the prison of your potential. Dialogue is the first step, but integration is the journey. This is the process of bringing the shadow's energy from a source of sabotage into a source of strength. This is the blueprint for turning all that pent-up ambition into real, lasting change. Step 1. Name your shadow. First, we have to change the language. Stop calling yourself lazy. That word is loaded with shame. Instead, give the resistance a neutral name. The protector, the guardian, or the handbrake. This simple act separates the behavior from your identity and reframes its intention from malicious to protective. When you feel it, you can say, "Ah, the protector is showing up. I wonder what it's scared of today." This shifts you from self-blame to curious observation. Step 2. Pick one small, non-threatening action. Big goals are terrifying to the shadow. Write a book is paralyzing. So make the goal laughably small. Don't write the book, write one sentence. Don't build the business, send one email. The goal here isn't achievement, it's to take an action so small it flies under the shadow's radar. This builds proof for the psyche that action is possible and, more importantly, that it is safe. Step 3. Track your resistance daily. Become a detective of your own psyche. Keep a journal. At the end of each day, ask, when did I feel resistance today? What was I about to do? What thoughts or excuses came up? Was it a sudden feeling of exhaustion? The thought, this is pointless. An impulse to check your phone. Just notice the patterns without judgment. Awareness is the light that makes the shadow visible. The more you see its predictable tactics, the less power they have. Step 4. Share your truth. The shadow thrives in darkness and secrecy. Shame is its food. The most powerful way to dispel shame is to speak it out loud. Find one person you trust, a friend, a therapist, and say the thing you're most afraid of. I'm terrified that if I launch this, no one will care. Saying it out loud robs the fear of its monstrous, unspoken power and dissolves the sense of isolation it depends on. Step 5. Expect setbacks and practice compassion. This is not a one-time fix. It is a practice. You will have days where the shadow wins. This is not a failure, it is part of the process. The goal is not to become a perfect, fearless productivity machine. The goal is to become a more whole, integrated human being. When you have a setback, meet it not with shame, here I go again, I'm so lazy, but with compassionate curiosity, okay, the protector is back. It must be feeling really threatened. What's going on? Then, you simply return to the practice. If this deep dive into the psychology of ambition resonates with you, subscribe for more content that goes beyond surface-level motivation. And if you know someone who has big dreams but feels perpetually stuck, share this with them. You might be giving them the key they've been searching for. For most of your life, you have likely been at war with yourself, shaming a part of you that you've labeled lazy. But that laziness was never the enemy. It was a symptom. It was a distress signal from a forgotten, frightened part of your psyche. The journey out of this is not about becoming more disciplined, it's about becoming more courageous. The courage to stop fighting and start listening. The courage to look into the darkness of your own heart. Your resistance is not a sign of weakness, it is a call to wholeness. It is an invitation to integrate all the parts of who you are, the ambitious and the afraid, the light and the shadow. The energy currently used for self-sabotage is a tremendous source of power. When you can integrate the shadow, that energy is liberated as creativity, passion, and authentic drive. The next time you feel that paralysis, don't fight it. Don't run. Turn toward it. Get quiet, and listen. It has a story to tell you. And listening to that story is the first step toward rewriting your own. As Carl Jung powerfully stated, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Your path forward is not found by looking toward some distant, motivational light, but by having the courage to finally turn on the lights within.